Hi Guy, I'm Laurie from AI Elephant.
Hi guys, I'm Leo.
Hello, and welcome back to the podcast, Leo. Today we're talking about a company that is just sprinting in this AI Supercycle cursor.
Cursor, the AI code editor. I've heard that name a lot. My developer friends say its growth has been mayhem, just pure chaos, but incredibly fast.
Exactly. And today we're not just talking about their product, we're digging into the operational philosophy of their CEO, Michael Truell. In a high-speed cycle like AI, how does a company even survive? How do they scale? And how do they practice continual self-disruption? Cursor's story starts in late 2021. The team saw two key moments. First, Copilot was proof that useful AI was finally here. And second, they had faith in scaling laws, a belief that the models would just keep getting better.
So they decided to build a code editor from day one.
Actually, the exact opposite. They had this grand cursor for X-Vision. They wanted to build an AI-driven flywheel, build the best product, use it to win data and capital, then use that to improve the models and repeat. But they assumed Microsoft would dominate coding.
So what did they do? They picked mechanical engineering and CAD systems.
It was a false start. Michael Truell himself called it horrible founder market fit. They didn't understand the users at all. They even joked about needing to get internships just to figure it out.
I get it, and it was worse because, unlike coding, there were no great out-of-the-box models for CAD. They had to scrape 3D model data themselves. He said the team had PTSD from it. No wonder they pivoted back to programming, the thing they actually knew.
After that failure, they became super focused and expedient. While everyone else was chasing sci-fi dreams like AI agents, Cursor chose a very narrow path.
How narrow?
They made a very weird decision for the time. They decided to own the surface. They didn't build a plugin for VS Code, they forked VS Code and built their own IDE.
Wait, that is incredibly risky. Getting developers to switch editors is almost impossible, right? We're creatures of habit.
They were their own best case study. The entire team had already switched to VS Code because of Copilot. They believed if you build a better mousetrap, people will switch. They needed total control over the user experience, which a plugin could never give them. That strategy worked. Cursor exploded, all with just a 5-person team. But this led to two massive scaling challenges.
Technical challenges! I'm guessing!
Exactly. The first was what he called normal boring cloud services. Their internal file sync system was like running 2 or 3 mini Dropboxes. The database became the main bottleneck.
Man, a tiny team having to manage database sharding and a huge Kubernetes cluster. That is rough.
But that wasn't even the craziest part. The second challenge came from their API providers. Cursor's API call volume grew so fast that at one point, their revenue accounted for a really high double-digit % of a certain AI provider's entire API revenue.
You're kidding! So Cursor, one company was so big that the provider, let's say OpenAI for example, had to do capacity planning just for them.
That is right. The provider's bottleneck became Cursor's bottleneck.
So how did they solve that? Good problem to have.
The answer was heterogeneous dependency. They realized they could get the same model from multiple providers, including various token resellers.
Don't put all your eggs in one basket. They split their traffic across multiple providers. An multi-cloud strategy.
Exactly. But more important than the architecture was the people. Michael Truell's core belief is do anything possible to get the most talented people.
Okay, talent first. We hear that a lot. What did they do that was different?
They pulled crazy recruiting stunts. We're talking flying halfway across the world to meet a candidate after they said no, or doing talent. Ledmutta acquiring a company just to get its founders.
That is aggressive. I love it.
And then there is their interview process, a 2-day on-site project for all engineers and designers.
2 days? That long? What are they testing for?
It is not just raw technical skill. They're testing for how agentic someone is, for their product sense, and their ability to get a project done, end-to-end with no hand-holding. Why be so extreme about talent? Because Michael believes that despite all the AI hype, we are so far away from 100% automation in a real 1,000-person professional environment.
Right. The real world is so inefficient.
Exactly. He says there is a really long, messy middle ahead of us. What Cursor experienced was maybe the iPod moment. But the iPhone moment is coming. And another iPhone moment after that.
So Cursor has to build itself into an organization that can continually build those disruptive products.
Yes, they have to build continual self-disruption into their DNA. Because if they don't, when the next iPhone moment hits, they're kaput. And that is the real survival law of the AI age. So, to wrap up the Cursor story, what are the takeaways? First, in the AI age, you have to be bold enough to own the surface and control the core experience. Second, in hyperscale, you must use heterogeneous dependency to manage your infrastructure risk. And finally, the only real moat is talent density and the capacity for continual self-disruption.
Thanks, Laurie. In all this AI chaos, it seems Cursor chose the hardest path, but maybe the most durable one, not just chasing the hype, but building a team that can survive the storm.